Today is all about forgiveness. We are going to find out which brand makes the best 10K driver. So 10K drivers have been a big focus recently. And what a 10K driver is, it is a driver that has 10,000 MOI, or moment of inertia. What that means is they're just super forgiving. So we've got quite a big challenge on our hands today because we've got the Ping G430 Max 10K up against the QI35. We've got the GC quad set up, so we're going to be able to dive into all the numbers, and we're going to finish up with a big challenge between these two. So make sure you stay tuned to find out which one is the winner. Now today is all about putting these two head to head. However, there is a lot of technology packed into these drivers. We're not going to dive super deep into that. However, if you want to learn more about them, you can check out our full reviews either on the Golf A Lot website or here on the YouTube channel. So we're going to go straight in with the Ping driver just because I know that this was my favorite of 2024. I feel super confident with it. The only thing I will say, and this is the same for all 10K drivers out there, is they do just look huge behind the ball. Now, a lot of manufacturers have put designs on the top of the crown to try and hide that a little bit, make it look a bit sleeker. There's a lot going on with the Ping one, and I think that's to try and make it look that bit more compact. But I think, to be honest, with 10K drivers, they're big. They're always going to be big. You kind of just have to accept that a little bit. Okay, bit of a classic Ping noise there. I always find Ping drivers a little bit loud. I know they have worked with the technology to try and reduce that recently, but I think Ping drivers kind of have like a distinct sound to them. They're a bit louder. Depends how important that is for you. Definitely wasn't my best strike, just that little bit of like a low bullet there, but not bad ball speed. So 132 with the ball speed, which is lower than I would like to see, but for a bad strike, it is pretty good. We'll see if we can get a better strike going here. That last shot, I actually didn't think I struck particularly well. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't feel quite perfect. And yet we still got a ball speed there of 137 and a carry of 227. So for reference, I want to see a ball speed of about 135 and a carry somewhere around 220. So 227 for a shot that I didn't think I struck very well is quite impressive, I would say. Bit toey, not in any trouble though. I feel like if that wasn't a 10K driver, that definitely would have been in trouble. And ball speed of 135. So even with the miss hits, and that actually went a carry of 220, even with the miss hits, you're getting a lot from this. The only thing I would say, and this is more environment led than anything else at the minute, is because we're in an area where it's very echoey, Ping drivers do sound loud. And this driver, it does sound loud. And because it's echoing and it's so loud, it's so overwhelming that it makes it feel as though off the face, it's coming off that little bit tinny, that little bit clunky, even though it is just the sound. And again, it just comes down to if that's an important part in the driver picking process for you or not. It is just a little bit loud. .229 carry. That's quite nice. That is quite nice. Okay, numbers done for the Ping driver. We're going to move on to the QI35. I think in conclusion with this driver, I just know that I can stand and I can hit it as hard as I want because it's going to help me out. It's so forgiving. I hit a couple of bad shots there and none of them are even remotely in trouble. Yes, if you hit it from the toe, you're maybe going to come to this left side just, but it's not going out bounds. You're not losing the ball. You're probably just going to finish on the side of the fairway, which is perfect for what you want for a driver. The only thing I'd say is with the sound, it is loud. That is the main kind of off-putting factor with this. Whereas I know with the QI35, the feeling off the face is so nice. So it'll be interesting to see if the QI35 can keep up with the numbers that we found with the Ping, because the only downside I can give this is the sound and the feel ever so slightly. So coming on to the QI35 Max. Now, other than the fact that they both look massive behind the ball, there's very few similarities in the way that these two drivers look. So with the QI35, obviously, if we look back at previous models, you've had the Stealth with the red face, you've had the QI10 with the blue face. It's a little bit more muted this year with the black face, but there's still a lot going on here. You've got a lot on the face, you've got that carbon pattern, you've got the carbon pattern on the top of the crown as well. You have also got the little TaylorMade logo. Now that is there to help you try and align to the center of the club. However, when I align with that, it feels like it's very much not in the middle of the club. So I have a few issues just with the way that that sits at the ball and the way the alignment is. It's very, very different to the Ping driver. Both of them are just really big. It's what we're expecting from a 10K driver, but we'll give this one a hit and see how the numbers get on compared to the Ping. Yeah, it just feels nice. The QI35 faces on all the models just feel really, really nice, which, to be fair, was something that I found with the QI10 that I just liked how it felt from the face. And there's just something about that like carbon face. It's really like soft and like buttery, which I think is quite hard to find with a driver, easier to find with irons for sure. That just looks nice in the air, doesn't it? Okay, see, I felt that one more. That was struck from the heel, but it looks exactly the same as the balls that have been struck from the dead center. I think because of that face, one of the big differences in feel is you have to hit it quite far from the heel or quite far from the toe to actually be able to feel that. If you just slightly miss it from the center, you can't tell. Whereas with the Ping driver, you can feel it when it's an off-center strike. You still get the forgiveness and the shot still looks okay and it still works out, but you can definitely feel it more with the Ping driver. Touch left, but like a nice strike. Okay, that's a bit better. The numbers were looking a little bit on the lower side. That one has gone 226 carry and a ball speed of 136. So that's pretty much in line with the Ping. However, most of the numbers have been a little bit lower. I'm going to hit a few more so that we can actually get a proper average going before we look directly into the data, but that was a pretty good shot. So looking into some of the stats from the GC Quad, now there is a clear difference between the two drivers and it's very consistent throughout. So if we start off with the ball speed, the Ping driver was going half a mile an hour faster than the QI35, but both of them were numbers that I was really happy with. So the QI35 at 134.5 and the Ping at 135. So like I said, anything around 133 to 135, that's what I'm looking for. So both of those fitting into that range with the Ping on the upper end. And then coming on to carry distances, the Ping again just outperformed with an average carry of 221 yards compared to 218 with the QI35. So 3 yards difference there, which is the same when you look at the total, with the Ping coming out at 239.5 versus the QI35 at 236 yards. So each time the Ping is just going a little bit faster, a little bit further. Another quite clear difference from the data is that the QI35 is spinning up a touch more than the Ping driver at an average spin rate of 3,005 versus 2,660 with the Ping driver. So a bit of a difference there. Now it depends what the thing is that is most important for you. So obviously we can see straight away the Ping is going a bit further, it's going a little bit faster. However, there were some clear differences just by the shot shapes and also from the dispersion data that we got from the GC Quad. So with the Ping driver, it was never in trouble. My worst shots were when I was hitting it off the toe and it was coming around and just finishing on the left-hand side of the fairway. However, I also had some shots that went straight and I also had some that faded off a little bit. So there was a little bit of variation there. When we come to look at the QI35, every single shot, no matter how I felt I hit it, was exactly the same. It was a nice gentle draw and it was just so consistent compared to a very small amount of variation with the Ping driver. But I just want to emphasize the fact that that margin of error, even with the Ping driver being that bit more dispersive, it's still a very small range of space that the balls are going into. Both of those drivers are super forgiving. However, I really liked the fact that the QI35 Max was always the same shot shape and all the balls just landed in the exact same area. Super consistent and super forgiving, but just lacking ever so slightly compared to the Ping numbers. So it's all well and good looking at the stats, but they need to be able to perform out on the course. So we're doing one last challenge here. It's a fairway finder challenge. We've got a pretty tricky tight hole up there, 3 balls with each, and we're gonna see which one I can find the fairway with. Okay, first up, we're going in with the ping driver. I mean, that was quite good. 1 for the ping, just on the left side of the fairway there. Okay, that was very central. Look at that. That is definitely, that is dead center. No. Okay, that basically went dead straight where I aimed it, which was down the right-hand side. So unfortunately, that last ball there has gone in the right trees. So it's 2 for ping. If we can get all 3 with the TaylorMade, we'll have a winner. Ooh, that's turning over. That is unfortunately left trees. We said the QI35 has a nice draw shape. That was a little bit of an overdraw. I think that's done exactly the same thing. Last one. We need to try and get at least 1 with the QI35 here. Okay, there we go. We can take that one at least. So not actually the result I was expecting from that test, with the ping coming out of the winner of the challenge, just because of how consistent I found the QI35 initially. I think the only caveat to that, when you're hitting that nice consistent draw shape every single time, is when the wind blows to the left and it's not that workable in terms of different shot shapes. It can be difficult to work with that compared to the ping that you can do a little bit more with. It just comes down to what you're looking for in your game, if you want the same shot every single time, or if you want something that can change it up a little bit. And I think that's just summarizing how, even though these are both very forgiving and they go similar distances, obviously with the ping winning ever so slightly, they're very different. They're very different in the feel, in the sound, and also the type of shot shapes you're gonna see and what you can do with them out on the golf course. So if you're looking for a 10K driver, I think overall you do just need to go and test them out. For me, I found that the ping went that little bit further, a little bit faster. However, I felt more confident with the QI35 to hit the same shot over and over. However, that means that you might just be stuck to 1 shot. If you can't hit a fade with it, like I can't with that club, that might be a problem. It depends what level you're at and what you're looking to do. It really is so close between the 2 of them. I think if I had to pick, I would go with the QI35. The reasoning being, when I was stood on that tee before the challenge with the ping driver, having seen in testing that this could go various different directions and various different shot shapes, I wasn't sure what I was going to hit, and I don't like that feeling. I prefer to have something that is the same over and over and over, and even though the ping has a little bit more distance, I would still choose that. That's the most important thing for my game. But they're both great drivers. When I'm saying I'm not sure what type of shot I'm going to hit with the ping, I just mean I'm not sure if it's going to go slightly to the right or slightly to the left. They're always going to help you stay out of trouble. That's what 10K drivers do. But if I had to choose one from today, I think it would be just the QI35. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments which of these 2 drivers would you be choosing from the results of today's testing. Thank you guys for watching, and subscribe for more.